let's get through this first round. I think that's how you have to approach it, Diff. This is a 3-race schedule, period, end of story. What do I need to do to get through these 3 races? And this is the start of it. But make no doubt about it, this is a very difficult race just to get through. And if getting through just enough, you're going to have to gain points if you don't win a race. So it's easy to say, hey, let's take it easy, don't get in a wreck. The problem with that is if you don't gain enough points and you don't transfer to the next round, that could be because of what happened here today.
And remember that you have those who are and those who aren't in the playoffs. Those who are on the outside, like Michael McDowell in the 34, they just want race wins. Simple as that, race wins. And they would like to get it here today in the Quaker State 400. 10 races to go. The playoffs begin now. It's time to bring the action. Atlanta Motor Speedway, let's go! And McDowell has got his front row motorsports teammate Todd Gilliland tucked in nice and tight behind on the low line. Almost a repeat of 2 races ago at Daytona. Berry up high, that purple car, 3rd in line, number 4. McDowell, Blaney, Berry, Gilliland, and the 5 of Kyle Larson.
Keep in mind, this is the first time race cars have been on track other than by themselves, so they really don't know how their cars are going to handle, Steve.
Well, McDowell out front has to feel good with all that clean air. I think it's no different for Blaney right here off his rear bumper. It's the cars back in 10th, 15th, 20th, all the dirty air and really half the real estate.
Michael McDowell told me last night, I'm thrilled to have won the pole again. But Diff, I just want to get to the checkered flag. I've been running at the front. I've had a fast forward, but I've been denied that opportunity.
Well, you mentioned checkered flag, the first stage, only 60 laps. They can run the entire 60 laps on their tank of Sunoco fuel. So all of this kind of posturing you see right here for position, no guaranteed breaks, no guaranteed pit stops. This could run start to finish.
See Todd Gilliland jumping in front of Logano. He was on that bottom lane all by himself. Was starting to lose track position, had to fill that hole.
24 of Byron, that black and white car on the bottom, jumps out of line. It works in the corner when it's a shorter distance, but on the straightaway, the draft is more dominant. He finds a lane to get back up top.
Ty Gibbs has made up 6 early positions, Truex as well. Of course, they were starting at the back after that unapproved change, but that was precautionary. Those plug wire problems that Denny Hamlin experienced and the other JGR Toyotas decided to do the same. McDowell led 27 laps here, Jeff, earlier in the year when this was just the 2nd round of the season. Finished in the top 10. Wants to drive this home today.
Exactly, and as much as we talk about the playoffs and this championship battle side by side here, there's a lot of guys in this field. The majority of them aren't in the playoffs. And winning a race means a season changing, maybe a career changing. So they're not going to change the way they race just because they're not in the playoffs.
Nice efficient work from Kyle Larson as he's sneaking his way closer to Team Penske's Ryan Blaney. The 5 runs 3rd. Austin Dillon nicely placed in the top 5. Here comes Brad Keselowski on the inside, and that was a nice straightforward move as well. The only RFK racing Ford in the playoffs.
Yeah, different look for RFK. They were fortunate to get 2 in a year ago. Chris Buescher right there in that blue and black 17, 2 cars behind his owner and teammate, was unable to make the playoffs this year. He was in the fight to the bitter end, though. Had a chance at Darlington, but Chase Briscoe's win kind of changed the entire complexion.
I feel like that 10 car on the bottom, he was struggling a little bit. Everybody trying to get by him. See how orderly it is in that first 10 or 12. They're all single file. The battle rages back here.
See that move right there? It looked like a little bit of contact between spring race Atlanta winner, the 99 of Suarez, and the 41 of Priest.
There's Tyler Reddick on the high line there. Regular season champ. There he is. It was excruciating last week, those stomach issues he had. And he was preventing himself from vomiting in his helmet. He said it was so difficult. I had stomach cramps. He said it didn't alleviate until the early hours of the morning. He said it was one of the toughest things I've gone through while driving to the regular season title. Corey LaJoie in the 7, the Gainbridge machine on the low line.
So let's see what happens with Corey right here. He turned left to get underneath Haley. So the 19 of Truex, he saw that. He jumped on the outside of him. Now everybody trying to line up and make him pay for making that move. Another side-by-side battle on the top for 5th. The danger of making the move is that it doesn't work out and you lose a lot of spots. And that's what all these drivers are learning right now. Can I make a move and will it work out?
Hunt Brothers Pizza brings us this view of Joey Logano. The 3 of us spoke to Joey earlier this week. He was very measured. He was very confident. Been here, and Paul Wolf, his crew chief, said Joey is a big moment, big pressure, big occasion driver. He actually goes better the higher the pressure is.
Well, they've been very consistent with that experience speech. That's what he said this week. That's the pep talk we heard on the radio just 10 laps ago. He feels like his team, top to bottom, even the mechanics, pit crew, everyone has been here. Who else is here is all of Joey Logano's teammates. Right behind him, the 2, that bright yellow Menards Ford of Austin Cindric.
This reminds me of a Daytona race in the 90s. You're not side by side, 3 wide. The cars aren't driving quite good enough to do that. You see Harrison Burton trying to make a move under William Byron. So what happens if he doesn't make this move? Can he slide up behind him? If not, they're going to line up on him, and he's going to lose a ton of spots.
Harrison qualified well. He was on the 6th row in 12th position yesterday. Now, Alex Bowman has a look on the inside in the Ally 48. They run side by side. Earlier this year, at times there were 3, and a couple of times they were 4 wide here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Ross Chastain lining up for a shot as well in that all-blue number 1 for Trackhouse.
The 24 car Byron had a little bit of an issue off turn 4. Looked like he got loose, lost a little bit of pace. Now Bowman's going to try to slide up in front. There's room to do it. I tell you, that 1 car, Chastain, that blue car, he looks racy.
And Daniel Hemrick starting to make in some good inroads as well. There's Chase Briscoe in the 14, the Mahindra Tractors Ford, and he said, you know what? The way that these tracks are scheduled, in my opinion, they lay out really nicely for me. There is confidence in abundance with the Darlington winner.
William Byron pops out of line. That's really the move that I think is most comfortable. The shape of this front stretch being the D, when you get to the second half of the D, the natural lane is kind of up. And if you think you could pull out a line, you really just turn left and take the shortcut right to turn 1.
Todd Gilliland on the inside of Austin Dillon. Now Austin comes back on that high side.
I tell you, there's some bad handling cars out there right now. There's some guys just hanging on.
Let's go for a ride with Chase Elliott. Let's have a listen. Thanks to Coca-Cola.
2 back. Nothing to you there, side draft and 2 back. Door. Still door. 23, your lane. Still out there. This is going to be your call. Still out there. Still there. 23 still rides 2 back.
Two things I noticed: part throttle in the corners, definitely out of the gas a little bit, and then the spotter. I love the quote, "Your call." We talk a lot about the responsibility of the spotters. Jeff, you were just up there. Trey Poole clearly on the radio, not trying to drive the car. He's letting you know it's your call, giving the information to Chase, but giving Chase the leeway to do what he thinks he needs.
Yeah, I think that's a smart. If you can't see it and coming off turn 4 is where it's the most difficult to see, you have to let them know. I think you're clear, but it's going to have to be your call.
There you go on the left. The left, that's TJ Major, spotter for Brad Keselowski. On the right, that's a spotter for Joey Logano, Coleman Presley.
William Byron gets on the inside of Austin Cindric, tucked in right behind Joey Logano. It's Michael McDowell, the pole man, leading the way. You're watching the NASCAR playoffs presented by Applebee's.